We continue to honor the incredible life of our colleague and friend, Wendy Chioji.
Wendy passed away last night after a long battle with cancer. And to say that she touched the lives of just about everyone she met is an understatement. Wendy was a reporter and anchor here at WESH for 20 years. She was very open with viewers about her cancer battle, which began in 2001. She became a beacon of hope and courage to others who were also fighting the disease. Through beating cancer and being diagnosed again, Wendy was fierce in the fight and in living her life to the fullest. From racing triathlons to climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, Wendy lived her motto, defy.
And condolences are pouring in from all over the state and beyond. And of course, from our colleagues here at WESH too. Amy Sweezy shared this message on Facebook today saying that Wendy was a force to be reckoned with and will be sorely missed. Claire Metz also remembering Wendy today as her darling, brave friend. She describes her as a journalist of true character and talent who never forgot the human element of a story. And Greg Fox calling Wendy the nicest person in the newsroom with energy and enthusiasm that was contagious and inspirational. And of course, these are just some of the stories that many of you want to share about Wendy too.
And we want to keep sharing her life and legacy with you. Stay with us today and in the days ahead as we honor our dear friend Wendy Chioji, gone at 57. Rest well, Wendy. We'll be right back.
WESH News at 4 continues next.
And as we head to break, we want to pause to remember our dear friend, Wendy Chioji.
Local, live, late-breaking. WESH 2 News starts now.
That is one excited Wendy Chioji.
She had a zest for life like no one else.
What's with the red lights? They're slowing us down.
There wasn't much that could slow down Wendy Chioji, triathlete, award-winning journalist, and a friend to countless numbers across Central Florida and the country. Tonight, remember the amazing life of our colleague and inspiration, Wendy Chioji.
For 20 years, she was the trusted friend of Central Floridians, bringing the news into your home.
But tonight, we share the news. Beloved WESH 2 anchor Wendy Chioji has died following a tremendous battle with cancer.
Wendy was a fixture here at WESH from 1988 until 2008. She wasn't just a journalist. She became a living symbol of hope and courage to other people facing cancer. Even when you know it's coming, there is nothing quite as sobering as the finality of death. Wendy Chioji spent the last 2 decades of her life leading the fight to defy, beating back cancer twice. Wendy passed away overnight after having chronicled her step-by-step battles, her clinical trials, highs like climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, and eventually foreshadowing the end.
And I'm here to tell you, who would have thought it would be me? But it is me, and you can use my example and go on and take care of yourself.
That was Wendy back in 2001, when an ultrasound detected breast cancer in its earliest stages. Cancer would go on to weave itself through Wendy's life, but it did not consume Wendy's life. She beat breast cancer.
So, Lance, is this the best ride you've ever had?
Then she hopped on her bike and trained alongside Lance Armstrong, becoming a top Livestrong advocate. Wendy loved life and respected that she had been given the chance to keep living hers. So she followed her passion and left WESH in 2008 to head west toward adventure. She may have settled in Park City, Utah, but she didn't stay put. Wendy traveled, cycling and climbing across the globe. She documented her climb of Mount Kilimanjaro as part of her work with Growing Boulder.
That easily was the hardest thing that I've ever done.
It's also where she found the perfect word to describe her, defy. She'd do that every time the cancer came back in different parts of her body. She defied conventional wisdom too, taking part in experimental trials to beat the cancer. Wendy's plan was always to fight for herself and others, and we know that's exactly what she did until the very end.
It is impossible to tell how many lives Wendy touched chronicling her battles against cancer online. She spent a lot of time responding to people who took the time to write or message. And for those of you who did not know Wendy well, she was pretty hilarious with a wicked sense of humor that was often at her own expense. She was a friend and mentor and confidant to many, and her message will live on forever.
And Jim, obviously, you had the honor of being able to anchor next to her for so many years. What's the one thing that you're going to miss the most? Because the people that sit next to you on the desk, I mean, fondness of any coworker is always great, but, you know, that person truly becomes family.
You know, I was, at first you're kind of in awe because when I interviewed her here, I wanted to work with her. And then you find yourself with somebody that you really want to be with, that you really respect. And she was a community champion. I mean, she never turned down any offer to appear at an event or host. And she was a really good example for other, mostly women, especially after she became sick. The hours that she would spend here late at night just responding to texts and emails and messages was absolutely phenomenal.
And it seems like she did that even after she left here as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it became part of her life, and she embraced it.
All right,
Jim.
Thank you so much
for sharing that with us. And of course, so many of you have been leaving messages with your memories of Wendy Chioji on our Facebook page.
Maria writes in part, she battled cancer with courage and was an inspiration to all. Relentless warrior. Fearless in so many ways, she is now in eternal peace, and her life on this earth will be an inspiration for all. And she used the hashtag #Defy.
And that was her message. Also, Veronica weighing in. I'm so heartbroken about this. I, like many other people, watched Wendy for years, both on and off the air. She was truly an inspiration to many people. She lived her life to the fullest. And of course, you can count on WESH 2 as we continue to remember the life of Wendy Chioji. We will continue to bring you stories tonight and throughout the coming days honoring her life. You can also find out much more information, including her blog and her posts that she had up until the last moment, all inside WESH.com or by downloading the WESH 2 News app.
WESH 2 News at 6 is straight ahead.
Meredith McDonough joins us now. What's coming up in our next half hour.
Guys, at 6, the search is on for a missing teenager and her 11-month-old baby out of Volusia County. Several agencies are stepping in to help in this search. We will hear from family members about the disappearance. Plus, we continue to remember our former WESH colleague, Wendy Chioji, who lost her battle with cancer. But it wasn't the disease that she was known for in our newsroom. It was her mission to defy. Be sure to join us at 6 o'clock as we honor her legacy and her mission.
Local, live, late-breaking. WESH 2 News starts now.
What I love most about Central Florida is that it's a big place, but a small town, a place that encourages and allows people to become part of the fabric of the community.
Tonight, Central Florida says its goodbye to the one and only Wendy Chioji, journalist, community champion, friend. Our WESH 2 family pays tribute tonight to a life well lived.
The news came overnight that former WESH 2 news anchor Wendy Chioji passed away following her latest battle with cancer.
Wendy was a fixture in Central Florida for 2 decades, with a legacy that lived on well after her days right here on the WESH 2 anchor desk. Wendy was hired to be a reporter in WESH in 1988. She really shined as an anchor, winning numerous awards for journalism and community service. In a recent online post, Wendy told us all that her condition was grim, defiant to the very end.
The face of courage and compassion, she defined what it meant to be strong, to live life to its fullest. If you missed Wendy's days here at WESH 2, you missed out. An incredible storyteller whose focus was always on the people of Central Florida. Down to earth, but the biggest spirit in the room.
Every year it's a challenge to try to outdo myself from the year before.
She was fun. Wendy loved Orlando. She was a diehard Magic fan, even when lots of others were not. not.
Long-term prognosis is very good.
Her 2001 cancer diagnosis did not slow her down. She pushed her body harder, keeping up her cycling and running.
I finished unofficially, according to my watch, at about 3 hours and 54 minutes, which was about 6 minutes faster than I'd hoped to.
Wendy ran the Boston Marathon to raise money for a nonprofit she loved, Canine Companions for Independence, because Wendy was always looking to give back and champion causes close to her heart. That became a huge part of her world after WESH.
A new adventure awaits.
She signed off in 2008 to chase the life that she took back from cancer. And even though we have lost Wendy, she won. An Ironman finisher, conqueror of Mount Kilimanjaro, friends in every corner of the globe who tonight are united by one woman and her trademark, Defy.
All day long today, we have heard from folks like you with your fond memories of Wendy. We've also heard from some former colleagues who say Wendy had a huge impact on their lives, both personally and emotionally. This is video of Wendy carrying the Olympic torch back in 2001. One of our former producers and former colleague Marjorie Dillingham emailed us today saying this is the moment that she remembers most. Marjorie is a cancer survivor as well, and the first thing she woke up to following her surgery was this video.
Many of our current staff members also have a special connection with Wendy. Dave McDaniel leaving his memories today, writing on Facebook, she never let cancer define her, but she defined the battle plan. Hate cancer? Check. Immerse yourself in treatment options? Check. Not be afraid to experiment and seek the latest medical strategy? Check. But through it all, take a big supersized bite out of the life sandwich. And for Wendy, it was a big sandwich with a side of pie for breakfast. Rest in peace, Wendy. Determination, just part of your legacy.
WESH 2 wants to keep you sharing your stories of Wendy's life and legacy. Stay with us tonight and in the days ahead as we continue to share stories about Wendy. You can find more information at WESH.com or the WESH 2 News app. We continue to pay tribute to my former WESH 2 anchor, my co-anchor, Wendy Chioji. Last night, Wendy ended her 18-year battle with cancer. The thing I will miss most about Wendy is that laugh, that staccato, wall-piercing trumpet blast of a laugh, followed by that smile. For someone with a smaller frame, she could make a lot of noise. Wendy had the gift of mishearing what was said, twisting the words, and then laughing by far the loudest at what she claimed she heard. She was selected to run with the Olympic torch during its journey through Orlando. Midway through her quarter-mile leg, she passed it to a total stranger running alongside so he could share in the experience. That was Wendy. She squeezed every ounce of energy out of her 5'2" body doing triathlons, climbing mountains, charity work, spending quality time with family and friends, living big. At the height of her first cancer battle, we actually shared laughs about how rapidly her hair was falling out, about her wigs, about days when she felt okay and when she didn't. She told me she spent so much time on the bathroom floor during cancer treatment that she learned the importance of cleaning the back of the toilet as well. She was formidable and charitable. She was fiercely loyal and expected the same from friends and confidants. She zealously guarded what little privacy she had, having shared the most intimate details of her cancer battles for all to see. She hated drama. She loved her family, friends, her cats, and pie. All kinds of pie any time of day. The best way to honor and remember Wendy, go outside, take a deep breath, and take a walk, or go for a run, or hop on a bicycle and go fast. Then follow up with a slice of pie, Wendy's favorite, and defy, always defy. 11 years ago, Wendy anchored her last newscast at WESH, where she said so long to Central Florida. We revisit that today and thought it only fitting to let Wendy have the last word once again, because her words, as usual, are the best.
What I love most about Central Florida is that it's a big place, but a small town, a place that encourages and allows people to become part of the fabric of the community. It has been my pleasure for 2 decades to work hard to make local news in our hometown better, but I have to thank you for creating the framework for me to work in. My cancer experience and survivorship come up often. There was never a doubt that I'd use that to educate and to comfort, but this community also held me in the palm of its hand when I needed support myself. Thanks for that. Second, I've learned that decisions in life are just part of the journey, not the destination. This isn't goodbye, it's see you later. You never know when I'll pop up in a Track Shack 5K or at the Black Bean Jelly or on a Saturday bike ride in Windermere. Friends are not limited by location. And finally, I want to share the moral from my favorite story. The story's too long to tell, and I know Jeffy's counting down to nightly news, but here is the moral. Life isn't about staying inside until the storm passes. Life is about dancing in the rain, or in my case, the snow, and that's what I'm going to be doing. And if you're ever in Park City, look me up, and I'll tell you the story. A new adventure awaits.